Good evening and welcome to the second annual Doctors in Training Black and White Ball. My name's Adam Spencer. It's a pleasure to be your MC for what promises to be an evening of celebration and acknowledgement of the great work being done in hospitals across New South Wales by interns, registrars, residents, supervisors and researchers. Can we start by giving the string quartet who entertained us during the entree a big round of applause? Oh, it is fantastic. Students from the Conservatorium of Music here in Sydney. Can I also start by saying, as a crowd, you look tremendous tonight. Now, I know that some of you have availed yourselves of the on-site hairstylist. Anyone willing to put up their hand and admit to that? Nice. If I'd known in advance of the service, I would not have gone to so much trouble myself this evening. But it is wonderful to see so many people out enjoying themselves this evening on this gorgeous autumn night. Now, some of you from out of New South Wales might wonder why I'd be talking up a night like this is so wonderful, but if you'd seen the dog of a summer we'd had, I'm not willing to give up on autumn just yet. I've never looked forward to an autumn so much in my life as I have over the last 3 months in Sydney. But the event organisers in particular do want to thank you all for choosing tonight's function in your doubtless very crowded social diaries. It goes without saying that in a world-class city like Sydney, on any given Saturday night, there are a slew of events to choose from. And by being here tonight, in choosing the Doctors in Training Ball over the Mardi Gras parade, it is indeed an honour for us that you have made that decision. But I do promise that tonight's event we will keep well to time and finish well in advance for those of you keen to catch Kylie and her hot pants at the Hordern Pavilion later this evening. It's also great to see so many of New South Wales's fantastic hospitals represented here this evening. I believe we have some people from St Vincent's Hospital, for example, yes? Great stuff. I had a vasectomy at St Vincent's just last Friday. So I would like to dedicate my walking style this evening, a slightly gingery gait, to the good people at St Vincent's and to any other urologists in attendance this evening. It's not just the hospitals from Sydney who are here tonight. We have people from John Hunter, Tamworth, Orange, Wagga Wagga. Yes, please make some noise if you're from those fantastic hospitals. I love in particular Wagga Wagga, or Wagere Wagere, as they say in Europe. I also spotted some doctors from the closest hospital to my neck of the woods, which is RPA. Well represented here tonight, excellent. We've also got a few tables, I believe, from Bankstown Hospital. Yes, please don't be shy, Bankstown, yes. Now, for our doctors from, say, RPA, Royal North Shore and the like, who may be asking, where the hell is Bankstown Hospital? It's a lovely little hospital. Best to think of it from here as it's sort of just east of Perth. Kathryn Austin, she's the chair of the AMA New South Wales Doctors in Training Committee. She is our host. To welcome us all and introduce our VIPs, Kathryn.
Thank you very much. Good evening and welcome to the 2012 AMA New South Wales Doctors in Training Black and White Ball. And how exciting is this room? For those of you who may not know me, my name is Kathryn Austin. I'm the chair of the AMA New South Wales Doctors in Training Committee. I'd like to thank you all so much for coming tonight to show your support for this event and for the amazing work of every single person in this room and your colleagues who couldn't be with us tonight. I'd like to give a special thank you to our honoured guests here this evening, to the Honourable Jillian Skinner, Minister for Health and Minister for Medical Research, to Dr Mary Foley, Director-General for New South Wales Ministry of Health, to Dr Steve Hambleton, our President of the Federal Australian Medical Association. I'd like to welcome Professor Dobb, Vice President of the Federal Australian Medical Association, and Dr Michael Steiner, President of the Australian Medical Association New South Wales. I'd like to welcome my fellow members of the Board and Council of the AMA New South Wales and my fellow members of the Council for Doctors in Training for Australia. We sincerely appreciate you being here tonight. It's a fabulous event. For all the young doctors here tonight, this event is about you And apparently I wasn't included in the Young Doctors event. Anyway, being a doctor in training, it's just nice to have a night off once in a while and have the opportunity to kick back, relax, and have a wonderful event. I also know how important it is for our hard work to be recognised and acknowledged in the public sphere. The awards segment of tonight's event aims to do just that. The categories of Doctor in Training of the Year, Doctor in Training Volunteer of the Year, and Supervisor of the Year are examples of how these doctors can be rewarded. I'd like to congratulate all the nominees for these awards. Everyone has been extremely deserving of these nominations, and I wish everyone the very best of luck for tonight. On that note, I hope everyone has a fabulous evening. I look forward to meeting as many of you as possible throughout the night. Thank you very much and enjoy. Welcome to the ball.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you for coming to the 2012 Doctor in Training Ball. We've organised this event once again to provide you all with the opportunity to take a break from your busy schedules, relax, socialise, and above all, have fun. I hope you all do just that tonight. We decided to hold this ball to celebrate you, our doctors in training, a vital part of the medical profession and of the AMA. I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Kathryn Austin, the chair of the AMA New South Wales Doctor in Training Committee. Tonight is very much her night, as it is yours, and a tribute to her commitment and hard work. She's an outstanding representative for all of you on our board and council, and I'm glad to say a good friend. We particularly want to celebrate the excellence of our doctors in training and supervisors. I chaired the judging panel and was extremely impressed by the calibre of nominees for the awards to be presented tonight. The high standard was such that the task of judging was not an easy one, and I offer my sincerest congratulations to all the nominees. You're all true testaments of what it means to be a doctor. Tonight's event also presents the opportunity to celebrate something for which we have long been fighting. I'm proud to be able to stand here now and say that after intense lobbying by myself and AMA New South Wales, the state government last week announced it is changing New South Wales industrial relations laws to allow employees a choice of union. This is a great achievement which will affect all of you sitting in front of me tonight, your colleagues and your patients. You've never before had the freedom to choose your own industrial coverage, but this state government decision means that you will now be able to decide for yourselves which union is most appropriate and well informed to represent your needs as young doctors in the health system. There have been many people working hard with me to make this change happen, and I thank you all. However, there's one person in particular who's been tireless in her advocacy and support for doctors in training. That person is our State Minister for Health, the Honourable Jillian Skinner. I'd like to invite Jillian to come up to the stage and receive this small token of our appreciation for your excellent efforts on behalf of all doctors in training in New South Wales, and also to address us. I'd like to present you with this. Would you like?
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that.
Did you hold it for me?
I'll get her to hold it for you. Thank you. Please sit down. Thank you very, very much. Those are probably the most beautiful flowers I've ever seen. And can I say that it's a pleasure to have been able to argue. I didn't have to argue too hard with my colleagues to have this new legislation brought before the Parliament. And I particularly want to acknowledge the work of Kathryn Austin and her team in persuading me of the value of doing this. I met with the doctors in training, the junior doctors, before I was the Minister for Health, where this really was their major item, their agenda item, as it has always been with the AMA, with ASMOF. And I'm very pleased that we've been able to take this path. The industrial relations legislative change was announced by the Minister for Industrial Relations, Greg Pearce, in Parliament, in the Legislative Council last week, the 23rd of February. And I believe it will go through without too much trouble, although we don't hold the numbers in the upper house. We always have to be very mindful of that, but I believe there's been a fair bit of talking going on with some of the crossbenchers in the upper house, and certainly I've addressed some of them, and in the lower house it'll sail through. This will be historic, this legislation. It will give doctors, junior doctors, the right to be represented by the sort of associations that senior doctors are represented by. It seems to me such a no-brainer, really. And I thank the HSU for putting itself in a position where nobody really has dissented from this proposal. But can I say the other thing I'm very proud of in relation to what we've been able to do for young doctors this year is find placements for all 950 interns who graduated from our universities who were seeking a place in the New South Wales health system. It's something that was a personal interest to me, because not only the graduates that are going to be, one would hope, long-time employees in the New South Wales health system, but those full fee-paying foreign students for whom there was no obligation. And I personally thought it was morally wrong, and that's why I'm very pleased we've been able to place everyone, all of them. And I met two fantastic young Canadian doctors, or students. Are they here? There they are. When I was out at Sydney Uni some time back, and I think one of them knew at the time he had an internship, the other one didn't. So if you're here, I'd love to talk to you later on. I'm really pleased we could help you. Look, that's all I want to say. This is a great night. I promise you I won't dance till 12 o'clock tonight like I did last time. I've been given heaps by all my colleagues about it ever since. But thank you for inviting me, and I hope you all have a great night. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Minister, and Dr. Michael Steiner there for those addresses. Great to see some emotion in the room, some hooping and hollering. Quite a rock star welcome for you there, Minister. And a standing ovation, no less, on the topic of industrial relations. Now, I know that the topic of unions and union membership is often a thorny one in Australia. It certainly can arouse passions. Given my other line of work, I know full well the complex issues that swirl around unionism. Working for the ABC, of course, I'm a member of 14 different unions, including the Union of Communists, Marxists and Allied Anarcho-Syndicalists, the National Federation of Men who prefer the title person to man because of the obvious hegemonic power imbalances inherent in the word man. And I've actually recently been appointed State President of the Miscellaneous Greenies, Lesbians and United Basket Weavers of Balmain and the Greater Inner West Union. Thank you. Of course, the Miscellaneous Greenies Union, the MGU, isn't as much fun to be in charge of as, say, the Health Services Union. Running the MGU, I don't get a union credit card, but I do get 15% off all the falafel I can eat at certain vegetarian cafes in Glebe. So it's a rewarding position.